Pickaxe.
Hello and welcome to YOMP. It's Ye Old Movie Podcast, the hit podcast. It's officially a hit now. I'm making that up, but it sounds good. I am Simon Honeydew-laying, the diggy hole man, and with me is one of my co-hosts, the fragrant G-Star Games.
Again with the fragrant.
You liked it so much last time, I did it again.
What fragrance is it this time?
Mushrooms.
Starbucks Grande Cafe Latte is the fragrance.
Cafe latte.
Hello, my name is G-Star Games, and I'm your Australian host for today and every other day. And with me is Sophie, aka Booth.
Hello. My name is Sophie, aka Booth, and welcome to YOMP episode 8. Keith is actually trying to wander around the microphone right now. What do you want, you little horror?
He wants to be heard. He has words about this
been
movie.
Meowing. What are you doing, son? He wants dreamies.
I'm glad that you mentioned meowing, because otherwise people might think it's your child, your human child.
My human child can meow if it wants.
If it wants. That's how
Come on,
Booth feels
son,
about
eat
children.
your bucket of fish heads.
Fish heads, roll it, fish heads. What a fucking jam.
Anyway, so episode 8. We're up to episode 8. Never thought we'd make it this far. Honestly, it's a surprise. And this week we are discussing a film it was one of my picks. I won the role last week.
Yep.
And it's the thriller Dead Again, not to be confused with the zombie movie called Dead Again. I think there might be more than one zombie movie called that.
Yeah, for sure. Because when I was like looking up stuff, like trivia and whatever, it was like just zombie posters everywhere, and I was like, "That's
a different film." It's the 1991 film directed by Kenneth Branagh, also starring Kenneth Branagh, along with his wife at the time, Emma Thompson. And it's got an all-star cast. It's got Andy Garcia, Derek Jacobi. It's got Newman from Seinfeld.
Why did you say Andy Garcia with a lisp?
Garcia.
Oh, because you're trying to say it in Spanish, but you're too white.
I'm trying.
Okay.
Wow. So this is, I got to briefly summarize it. It's,
no spoilers,
it's a film,
though.
No spoilers, yeah.
Without spoilers. It's a film.
Congratulations, you summed it up quite nicely there.
It's a film. It's about hypnosis, past lives, fate, and love that lasts forever.
Yeah. Well,
and it's got so many twists and turns in it as well.
It does. Are we gonna like spoil it at the as we progress, as we talk about the? Okay.
Yeah,
we'll pretty much go through it scene by scene.
If you haven't seen this and you want to see this, then come back later. Have a watch of it.
I don't think we've done a spoiler warning before.
I don't think we have. No.
This is nice. I like this.
Well, we've like somehow changed the format of how we do this. It started from Booth started it with Frankenhooker, where we started doing scene by scene. Because up until Heat, we were like, yeah, that scene, oh, that was funny, that was not funny. We were just talking about random scenes, but then Booth started doing, scene by scene.
Yeah, blame me.
No, I actually prefer it because it's more structured that way. Like I'm
interested to hear what viewers think of that format as well. Viewers.
I think some films kind of need it, like the Neil Breen movie.
Yeah.
Heat, not so much, because it would have been like a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah. But I think from Frankenhooker, it works pretty well, and I'm happy to keep doing it like that because it actually gives context, and we're not just going, oh, that scene in Act 3, when there's no context for it.
We're going through it chronologically.
Hell yeah! So yeah, go watch it if you haven't, or if you just want to listen to us waffle on about it, then that's fine too.
Because we do go off on tangents, and it's not my fault, I promise.
Well,
It's
it is
definitely Boo's
mostly.
Yeah, it's definitely Boo's
It is
fault.
mostly. That was I did. What was that laugh? That was like a Batman villain laugh.
Yeah, you kind of sounded like the Joker for a second.
It sounded like the OG Joker from the Adam West days.
And I'm the one that derails the train of thought, am I?
Yeah, it's always Boof,
Actually, this is a bit of trivia. Now that you mention Adam West, the mansion in the movie is actually the Wayne Manor in the Adam. I swear to God. It's
beautiful.
There you go. See, fate.
From which film?
No, the 1966.
The animated one.
The TV series.
Oh, so that is the same location.
I think it's the same. It's the Wayne Manor. Their house and then the orphanage.
Sure?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just checking. That's very interesting. Very interesting. I didn't recognize it. It just looked like, big building.
Recognize it as if I recognized it. It was just a piece of trivia that I found. But yeah, show your age, Simon.
Thank you, G-Star Games. Thank you so much. Okay, so the film opens, it says dead again, and then suddenly, murder! And I'm like, I bet that made G jump. That's what I put in my notes. I bet G jumped at that jump scare.
I put that the title screens was dead boring. Like, I didn't like that. I was tuning out.
Oh, with the newspaper things.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not grasped at all.
It feels like it's summing up an entire movie, like a prequel to this movie.
Yeah, Boof doesn't like that though. I don't remember which episode she mentions it, but she said, I don't like it when they do like title things at the beginning because it's like exposition and it's boring and lazy.
Right, like the Star Wars text crawl.
Yeah. At least it wasn't as lazy. They actually put a little bit of effort into it. But I struggle with reading things when...
Okay.
Boof not good at reading.
Me not good at reading.
She not read.
There is an awful lot of information.
There is, yeah. And it's a bit assaulty in some ways because it's like big text, scrolling, zoom, and it's like, oh, okay.
It's very hard to take in. I think that's the problem. So it's either boring or hard to take in for me. I'm just like, well, there's no happy medium.
Yeah, there needs to be the Goldilocks kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
The Goldilocks zone. So we learned that there's been a murder. Margaret Strauss, who was a pianist, married to Roman Strauss. They had a mansion in LA, and the murder weapon was a pair of scissors. Honestly, there should be a drinking game where every time you see a pair of scissors, you do a shot.
My
You'd be
God.
dead. You'd be in the hospital, man.
Literally.
It's ridiculous.
Insane.
It's not a very subtle sort of thing, the scissors, but...
No. The intro was very Moulin Rouge, in a way. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the movie starts off with how down in the dumps and depressed the main male lead character is, and it sort of gave me the same vibe. So it starts
not like all the newspaper bits.
No, not the newspaper bits. I think there's a bit of newspaper exposition, but not to that extent. But it sort of starts where it ends. In a way,
right.
And then it goes to like the present day. But this is obviously a bit more complex because it's a past lives type of situation.
Yeah.
But,
So we learn Strauss claims that a thief murdered his wife. And then we see what he looks like, and he looks exactly like Kenneth Branagh. And we're like, huh, that's strange.
I didn't notice that until like way later.
Of course. You must have some kind of face blindness. You must have.
I think I do. I must have, because I don't recognize anything. It took me ages to figure it out. I'm just going to mention here that Kenneth Branagh in this film looks like our good friend, the Spiffing Brit. In my opinion.
What? Do
you
really
must have
think so?
face blindness.
I am telling you.
There's no other explanation. That is insane. I'm sorry. I love you, Sophie, but that's insane.
I do not.
Looks like Spiffing Brit. What?
It does.
In what way? In what fucking way?
I think it's the mouth and nose. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that sent me into the abyss. That's the greatest thing she's ever said. Oh wow. Like, okay, because obviously I don't want to jump ahead because it's spoiler territory, but it's the whole like past lives thing and the people in the past and the people in the present. So I'm
the present of 1991.
Yeah, 1991. So I'm like, who didn't how I was thinking to myself, how could people not realize that is them? It's literally the same.
That's a very good point. That is a very good point. And there is a moment when they are literally looking at a magazine that has pictures of them in it.
Literally.
And they're not recognizing that it's them.
Yeah.
Which is very strange.
I was absolutely dumbfounded.
They do allude to it at some point that he says, you look more similar. You do look similar. Something like that.
They look exactly the same.
I know. It's really funny.
I think I was so outraged. Like, we'll get to that point, but I was outraged because I just started typing in caps because I was like, how have you only just realized that is the same person?
Oh my god. So, Roman, it looks like he's murdered his wife. He says it was a thief that did it, and the thief stole this golden anklet that's encrusted with emeralds and diamonds. His alibi doesn't check out. He's arrested. His fingerprints are on the scissors. All of this is written by a news reporter called Gray Baker, not Gary. Gray.
2 surnames because he's that special.
Yeah.
I wrote down scrapbooker gets death penalty for bad haircut.
Yes. After the newspaper bit, he's in the prison cell, and you hear like a snipping, snip, 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 snip of scissors. We learn also from the newspapers that it's December the 10th, 1949, and he's received the guilty verdict, and he's been sentenced to death. So he's getting a haircut. Was
that his actual hair, do you think? Or was that like a hair cap? Because it looked like fake and terrible. Yeah.
It looked pretty bad.
Well, I did say he gets the death penalties for the bad haircut.
Yeah, for sure. But because you said that.
The cop barber is giving him the haircut.
Yeah, so it's like,
it took me a while to realise the point of the haircut as well.
What was the point?
Well, because I think, like, if you go to the electric chair, you need good conductivity for the scalp.
Yes, exactly. They had to cut his hair short so that he could be killed. So that the electrodes in the helmet thing would make contact with the skin of his scalp.
I was going to say, wouldn't they just have used a shaver? But I guess back then it wouldn't have been.
No, because it's got to be scissors.
It's got to be scissors.
That's the thing.
Very important.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Maybe they should have just made him hold the scissors. Maybe that would have helped.
But he calls Gray Baker to come to his prison cell, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Tell them I love my wife. And he was like, you called me all the way out for that, you fucking shit.
I love my wife.
I love
my dead wife.
I choose this guy's dead wife.
He says, just print that I love my wife and I'll love her forever. And he has a lovely sort of soft German accent as well, which makes sense because he's called Strauss. So presumably he's from Germany. I guess we learn a bit more about that later. So the barber cop just leaves the scissors, just next to him.
Next to the scissor murderer,
Yeah. Strauss gets up. He like goes over to Baker, and he's like he like whispers something. He whispers a little thing in his ear, and we're like, "Huh, what was that?"
Yeah.
And Baker looks a little bit sort of disarmed by it, like he wasn't expecting him to say that. And Strauss he's escorted towards presumably the chair. He's going down the corridor. All the other inmates are like yelling. They're losing their minds. They're going ape shit. They don't like wife murderers, I guess. And of course he's got these scissors now in his hand, hidden. And at the end of the hallway is Emma Thompson, his dead wife.
I didn't really get that,
which is strange.
Yeah.
And then he says, "These are for you," and he stabs her.
Yeah.
And it turns out it was just a dream.
Yeah.
It was all just a dream that Emma Thompson was having in
bed.
In the present. Now we're in colour. That was all in black and white previously, and
so
now we're in full colour.
That's why it didn't make much sense, because it was like it doesn't make sense until later. And I think I'll explain in a bit why his dead wife is there again.
Well, because it was a dream sequence.
It was a dream sequence, but it makes sense.
Not. It is and it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because a dream would insinuate that it's not real.
Well, we don't know that yet, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all a dream by a woman who broke into a Catholic school.
Yes. It's a weird Catholic orphanage type place.
Nunnery?
But it's also the manor. It's Strauss Manor.
Well, yeah, because it like zooms out to a musical note on the front gate, and I was like, "Oh, there's such a clef."
Oh no, it's a clef.
Clef.
Oh, go clef yourself, honestly.
Wow. WTF?
I'm just kidding.
So rude.
It's whatever, a clef on the gate, and I was like, because they're musicians, I guess. But then it like goes to the scene where we see nuns and like a priest. I was like, okay,
yeah,
it's kind of
so
weird.
basically the manor, this manor house has been repurposed into a Catholic school / orphanage / boarding school
/ nunnery / convent
for little kids that like to play football, specifically
little boys
that like to play footy.
Yeah,
like all little boys ever.
Yeah.
So what's Emma Thompson doing here? They don't know. She just turned up a couple of days ago,
and she won't
banging on the
speak to
gates.
Him. Yeah,
she's like, "Let me in." Well, she wasn't saying "let me in" because she's mute. She's mute and she's lost her memory. How they know she's lost her memory, I don't know, because she's not speaking.
She can't tell them.
So that's a bit of a plot hole.
Well, apparently, originally she did have lines in the first half hour, because I think she was mute for like half an hour, and then they were like, "Oh no," because I think she just kept saying, "I don't remember." I think those were her only lines, and then they were like,
"It was too repetitive."
Yeah, it was too repetitive. So they said to her, they said, just keep her mute until she has something meaningful to say.
Just looks sad and scared.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Which is what they ended up going with in the end.
Well, she does nail it. Looking sort of sad, scared. She makes sort of like puppy dog eyes now and again as well.
She does, yeah.
She's also got what I described as a very good bisexual haircut.
Yeah, yeah. She's got the mom jeans on. Oh no, that's a bit later on.
What is a bisexual haircut? How can you? What is that?
That's what the bisexual lady's haircut is.
I don't understand.
It's just what it is.
I can see it. I mean, I thought she was very attractive. So
she was a looker.
She was
I guess she still is.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Bless you, Emma Thompson.
Pretty attractive. One thing that really confused me about the part in this convent or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
The priest just being so ungodly,
the father.
Yeah.
Not wanting to show any charity to this poor woman.
Yeah, like none.
What would Jesus say?
He'd be very displeased.
Jesus would be like, stop bloody screaming all night.
Yeah. Or maybe that's why he wanted her out. She's like, I can't get a restful night's sleep. But yeah, the father.
She's always having these nightmares.
He's only used to little boys in his Catholic school. He can't have a woman.
Yeah.
A woman.
A woman. But yeah, he's just very, very unwelcoming, and he's like trying to get rid of this woman, and he's like, and then the nun is like trying to convince him. She's like, she's got nowhere to go, and
she's like, don't be an asshole.
Yeah, don't be an asshole. And she tries her very best to convince him, but he's like, no, and then just pulls out like the white pages, the yellow pages. I don't even know what he pulls. He pulls out a directory and finds
a Rolodex.
No, it's not a Rolodex. It's a freaking white pages.
Okay, but it's someone he knows. It's someone who used to be a little orphan boy at the orphanage.
Yeah, and he says like, oh, like who better to trust to find this woman's family?
He says it's a name you can trust.
Mike Church.
Mike
because
Church.
he's called Mike Church. Brilliant.
Because he wanted to put her in the county hospital instead. He was just like, she's a nutso. Just put her in the hospital, man. Like that's where she belongs.
What an asshole.
The nun was like, you can't do that. Look at her. She's terrified.
Yeah.
There is an important thing that we have missed. When she has her nightmares, she always says the word Disha.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Disha. Not Daisha, but Disha.
No,
not Disha, but Disha.
I thought she just
now. If you speak German, that's very sus. If you know any German, that's pretty sus. Because Disha means scissors.
Oh. Oh. That makes sense.
The scissors, but it's just scissors. They gotta have the D in front of it. Gotta have that DG.
Gotta have that D.
Gotta have that D.
And we cut to Mike Church then, who he's our main leading man, is Kenneth.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Mike Church. He's got his American accent. Yeah, fucking love it. And love it so much.
Is he like a PI or like?
Yeah.
He's an ex-cop turned PI.
Right.
He has an amazing accent, a wonderful car. He likes driving on the wrong side of the road, but he is English, Kenneth Branagh. So maybe he just forgot. They left that in.
No, I saw that, and apparently because he directed it, and he said that because there were like skylines in the background, and it just looked like a better shot if he was on that side of the road and not the other side.
So weird.
I know.
I mean, maybe in Germany they drove on that on the correct side of the road, the left. Maybe that's.
I don't think they do.
Oh,
but who knows? Who knows? We'll get there. We'll get there.
I was like, oh, that's clever. That's a nice touch.
Oh, we also learn that he fucks as well. It's very important.
Do we?
Yes. He's on the phone to his. Is it his brother or?
I think he's on the phone to a client,
right?
And he fucked the cousin of the client's wife.
Yeah, and he's saying like, I took her home, but I don't want to see her again. Basically.
Yeah, he's not looking for Miss Right. He's looking for Miss Right Now, which is like a classic like gobshite line.
Oh my god, I didn't even pick up on that at all. Okay, guess he does fuck.
And he's trying to quit smoking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well. That's very important for some reason.
It is important. It is. I'm telling you, it is.
We then have a scene with Robin fucking Williams, who is in this film.
He doesn't play a huge part. I thought he would play a bigger part.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I was very sad that he didn't.
Rest in peace, the late Robin Williams.
Oh, I love him.
The very first word out of his mouth in this film is fuck, which I thought was nice.
Yeah. Even though he plays such a little weirdo, he's
a little weirdo.
He still gives me so much comfort because it's just Robin Williams.
Comfort.
He is the most comforting man.
He is.
And his name's Cozy as well.
Yeah, his name's Cozy Carlisle.
He is.
I don't know what it is. Is it because like
we
throughout our
associate
childhood.
him
Yeah.
with like, you know, funny.
Have you
he's
seen
very-
1 Hour Photo?
Yes.
So, kind of a different role
Yeah,
than
but-
that one.
As a kid, we grew up watching films that were very comforting. Like, remember Hook and
Mrs.
bloody
Doubtfire, like
Mrs. Doubtfire and
Oh,
Aladdin. He
Jesus.
voiced Genie, and
yeah, man, he's just iconic, and he's so funny, and just a natural funny man. And just anytime I see him on screen, I'm just like taken
You
back.
scream.
No, I'm taken back to like when I was a kid, and there's just something about him.
Aw.
It's just so comforting.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Anyway, he plays a disgraced psychiatrist who fucked his patients. So, and he got like disbarred or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
And
it
now he
called?
has to work in a grocery store.
in a is it a grocery? It is a grocery store, but he always
'cause
like
he-
sits in a fucking chop shop at the back.
Well, he's in the freezer. He's in the fridge.
Yeah,
He likes being in the freezer. He's got like warm clothes on, so he's
Yeah.
fine.
sure.
So he's talking about like, what was it? A plumber that's impotent, and he says a man lays pipe for a living, can't get it up at home, as though it's like a really funny thing to say.
But it is kind of, because like laying pipe is like a euphemism for fucking someone.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
it's just-
I thought Lane Pipe was taking a shit.
That makes even more sense, to be honest. Though.
Oh wow, I've gotten that wrong for like almost 30 years of my life.
He shits for a living. What a job.
Hey, some people
What a
make a
job.
living off of sprouting
Oh, I don't
shit.
even
Right,
want to
please
know.
don't carry
I don't
on, carry
even want to know how
So-
you're going to finish that sentence.
What?
Just
There's
talking
some-
over you.
Carlisle gives us his whole fucking life story, which is
Yeah.
it's very quick. You know, you don't have to learn about this in numerous scenes. He was a shrink. He fucks his patients and their wives, and somebody has left him some money in their will, which is why church
Excuse
An
me.
ex-patient.
Somebody.
An ex-patient.
What do you mean somebody? You
Somebody.
mean Myron T. Spargo?
Oh
yeah,
my
Myron T.
God.
Spargo left him money.
What a name.
11 grand, which is 8.8 grand minus
Oh, you're such
church's
a
commission.
queen. Oh wait, no. I was gonna say, how much is that in today's money?
Oh, in today's money, I don't
Oh.
fucking know.
That would be good to know. That'd be good to know.
Okay.
Just
I
look
always-
it up.
I always think
Look it up on the
1991.
internet.
I always think about these things now because I think about the cost of prices, the cost of housing.
Yeah.
Sorry, the cost of housing, and it just depresses me.
It's a purchasing power of about $24,500 today,
Okay,
11
about
grand.
twice as much. That's nice. That's nice.
which is let me do my calculations. That is
Inflation.
20 is about 20 grand.
Nice.
Great.
Maybe he can use that money to start up a practice.
No.
Maybe he could like move out of the freezer.
Yeah.
No, he's just going to spend it all on
He
drugs.
didn't
probably.
seem too happy about getting that money though. He was just sort of like,
Well, it's not a
okay.
life-changing amount of money. It's a nice amount, but it's not a
Yeah.
life-changing amount.
Well, it's better. I
Like,
mean,
you can't just quit your job.
It's life changing if you are literally on the bottom rung of
Yeah.
everywhere
yeah,
and
he
you can't
doesn't-
get a job anywhere else.
he doesn't seem like he's living it up. So, but I loved how he just was like giving a dialogue about his practice and his job, and then casually slips in, slept with the patient or two. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's the other shoe. It just dropped. Like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
why you were.
That's why he's here.
Yeah. It's like, oh, some bitch undercover. Some
He does-
bitch undercover.
That was harsh. That was very harsh.
Oh, man.
Jesus. So he notices that Mike Church, Kenneth Branagh's character, he's got a pen in his mouth like a cigarette, and he keeps eyeing the pack of cigarettes.
Mm.
And he says to him, "Someone's either a smoker or a non-smoker. There's no in between. The trick is to find out which you are and be that." Which sounds like some sort of Yoda fucking line.
Yeah, I don't really understand what that really meant.
Yeah, I still don't quite get that.
I don't really get it.
Because I don't think it's about smoking. I think it's about something else.
I think maybe he was just trying to say that, I don't know. I don't fucking
maybe
know,
you can choose your own fate.
Yeah.
And break the cycle.
You can
that's
say
kind of the theme.
What you are, you know,
maybe
not what you're trying to be.
Yeah.
And Mike Church, he walks out and says "fucking fruitcake" as he does. Which I thought was quite rude.
Well, I mean, he called him Sigmund as well, which I fucking laughed at. Call him like Sigmund Freud. It's one of the most aggressive conversations I've ever witnessed. It's like it went beyond passive aggressive. They were just supremely aggressive to one another. But yeah,
this is a conversation two men have when they don't like each other.
Yeah,
and there's like little spars going on.
Mm-hmm. Battle of the wits.
So Church is back in the orphanage. No, he's in the orphanage for the first time. He's there, and they've hired him.
If he was an orphan there, then he is back.
Oh yeah, so I guess he is back. That's true.
Yeah,
but he doesn't seem terribly happy about being back, really.
I think he owes the. Was it that he owed the priest?
Would you be happy about going back to a priest in a little boy's?
No, probably not. Actually, that's a good point. Very good point, Sophie. So he's looking for clues. He's going through Emma Thompson's belongings. He finds a single cream glove, I guess.
He sniff it,
and he sniffs it, and he gets caught by a nun. And she's like, "Are you some kind of sex pervert?" But he also finds the ring, the cladder ring.
Irish ring band. What do they call it?
So it's a cladder. Is that pronounced right? Probably not.
I think so.
Is Sophie Irish?
The whole deal.
Yes.
What? Top of the morning to you.
Are you?
No.
Oh.
Just because I look like a leprechaun doesn't mean that I'm.
Oh my god!
You said Soph, and I was like,
"Me Lucky Charms."
This is I didn't know anything about the cladder ring, and Kenneth Branagh he was born in Ireland and he identifies as Irish, so this was a little nod to his heritage as well.
Very cool.
No, he was born in Ireland and he says that he identifies as Irish, Northern Irish.
Right. Oh, okay.
He's British.
So the whole deal with the ring is that if you wear it with the crown towards your body, up your arm, that means that you are taken. You're off the table. You've got a man, you've got a husband, or whatever. But if the crown's pointing down, that means you're single, you're down to fuck, just with anyone, anytime, at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
And he gives her the ring, and she wears it with the crown up, which means that she's taken. Or at least she thinks she is.
Right.
She can't remember anything, but she knows that it feels right for it to be pointing up.
So
I think that's a pretty cool thing. Sorry, I think it's a pretty cool thing. People should have more secret codes of
the handkerchief thing.
Yeah, the handkerchief thing. I'm trying not to say.
What's the handkerchief?
Why are they always related to sex? I
keep wearing my brown handkerchief hanging out the back of my pants, but I've never gotten any responses from it. Never got any.
What's the handkerchief thing?
So there's a whole code based on the color of the handkerchief that you have. It's handkerchief code is the whole name of it. So, for example, if you have a brown handkerchief clearly visible, it means that you're into scat.
Yikes.
And it depends on which side you wear it on as well. If you wear it on the left, you are a taker, and if you wear it on the right, you're a giver or something.
Wow.
And somebody put, I remembered this recently because somebody posted a picture of, was it James Hetfield or somebody that had a dark red bandana in his pocket?
No!
Meaning that he's a double fister. Or something.
A double fister. That means he had two red handkerchiefs. Because that's fisting.
Well, it was a dark red, and something's double or something. But yeah, does that
guess what yellow means?
Golden showers.
It's very
means
simple when
kissing.
you think about it.
Yes. Every day's a school day here at YOMP. We hope
Always
you've
learning.
learned something valuable
Yeah.
here. But yeah, I think at this point of the movie, I wrote in my notes, is this some sort of supernatural story about how they've lived thousands of lives and they get reincarnated and find each other every time in each life, but he always ends up killing her, ?
I still
Wow.
didn't know that they were. I didn't recognize either of them, so I was just like,
It was a really good film because I like films that have me guessing the entire time. I love that. Like, I'm like, oh my god,
was
is it this?
very good.
I'm like constantly trying to figure it out. So yeah, I thought it
It's
did a
good
really
for
good
that
job.
because there is a mystery. There is a kind of a whodunit aspect
Yeah, I
to it.
love that.
Yeah,
Because you're expecting one thing. You're trying to piece together your little clues that you're given.
Yeah.
So, Mike Church takes this mystery lady to his mate Pete, who is played by Wayne Knight.
It's Newman
It's
from
Newman.
Seinfeld.
yeah, I put this fucking guy.
This fucking guy. And he works for he's a photographer in the paper or something, isn't he?
Yeah,
So
He tells a charming story, doesn't he, Sophie?
He does. He's like, don't give up. Don't you give up. Because basically, when I was the first on the scene of a gruesome murder where a mailman chopped up his family and then cut his own arms off.
With a hedge trimmer.
With a hedge trimmer. And I passed out and I couldn't remember anything when I woke up.
But if he chopped his own arms off, first of all, how did he do that? And secondly, how did he dial 911?
I think
used
somebody
his
else might
nose.
have done.
He used his nose to dial 911.
nice.
Yeah. And
Weird story. So fucking weird.
she's quite taken aback by this. He was like, you never know, they seem so happy and everything, and then bam, mailman's chopped his family up.
I wonder if it was a rotary phone. That would have been even more challenging.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder when
Jesus.
when the individual number pad got introduced. Because
You can probably look that up, G.
even because when
All
I was
the phones I see in the film are all rotaries.
oh,
So
interesting, but not really.
So yeah,
interesting to
after
me.
witnessing that, Newman developed amnesia, trying to block out the memory of it. So that ties to Emma Thompson's character having amnesia, which they somehow know, even though she's mute, which is weird.
I think it's because she just keeps shrugging. Like, where do you live?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's your name?
she just looks confused and scared.
She does that very good.
Yeah.
Very good at doing
But Mike helped Pete figure everything out, where he lived, what his family was, and he's like, hey, you live here. And everything came flooding back to him when he looked at his daughter or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
What a lovely story. Apart from the whole man with the hedge trimmer bit.
Yeah, you know.
Strange. Very strange.
Yeah.
So Mike takes Emma Thompson's character to the County Mental Health Hospital Institute
Yes.
so that she can spend the night there.
And it looks like a proper good party place.
Girls just want to have fun.
It is an absolute fucking clusterfuck. There's a massive fight, which I think has broken out because of a cookie. Judging from what someone's yelling.
The doors open. They're in the lift with a couple of cops and one lady, and then I think there was another person in there as well. And then the doors open and it's just bedlam. All these women are screaming and throwing.
And Bedlam comes from St. Bethlehem Hospital in London that was a mental institute.
Oh,
That's pretty interesting, actually.
Fun fact. It's not really fun, but
Anyway, that's
It's a
what
fact.
it's like when women get together.
Yeah.
And sort of their monthlies sort of align, and you get
Yeah.
this
And the last
absolute
cookie has been
fucking-
stolen.
you get this absolute fucking kind. It's like this all the time. When me and the girls get together and we don't have enough cookies, and the moon is full.
this is why
Yeah.
there's the ratio of men to women in the TTT recordings are always like, there's always going to be more men. If you put too many women in there,
it's no good. No one will watch it. No one will watch it. They'll be like, oh, women.
Ugh.
So whatever you do, when you're recording stuff, always have more men than women. Otherwise, oh, wait a minute. Does Keith count?
Well, Keith's gone, so, you know.
Fuck! Right, so Church, he tries to bring her back to the orphanage, but the father won't let her in the gates. He's like, fuck off!
I have a question about the elevator scene. Because, like, yeah, he obviously, like, changes his mind and he's, like, wants to take her back. Where did that woman get the blood from in the elevator?
She did it to herself, her own wrist.
Yeah. I assume she cut her wrist and she's, like, licking the blood on her wrist.
I thought it was something else. I was like, ew.
That's why she's in a mental institute.
Yeah, I was just like, because 1 minute she didn't have blood, and then the next minute she's smearing it on her face, and I'm like...
To be fair, I did that this morning, because I did have a nosebleed, and 1 minute there was no blood, and then the next minute I was smearing it all over my face and looking maniacal at the
staring
postman.
at the cats, threatening them.
Well, you bastards, you're next. So Mike Church takes our mystery lady home, because... He's like, well, I've got a spare room or something like that.
Yeah. To his lovely home.
And he's really mad that the downstairs neighbour Trudy is really bad at playing piano.
She sucks. She
doesn't suck, though. She's fine. She's just practicing.
It's like that. And I'm like, oh.
No,
that's in the scales. You've got to do that.
She's fine. It's just that she's loud is the problem.
Yeah. What she really needs is a nice electric piano and some headphones.
Yeah.
So Mike picks up a pair of scissors and just like walks towards her with the blades open, like a psycho, and she freaks out.
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
But he just cuts the wristband, the hospital wristband, off of her. That's all it was. Nothing to worry about. But you've got to take a shot because there was a pair of scissors in that scene. You got to do a shot. So she settles down for the night. She has a horrible nightmare again. Every night it's like this bullshit.
Well, she barricaded. There was a weird conversation preceding that about the chair.
She always blocks the door with the chair.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that, and also this they make a conversation around the type of chair. It's like, oh, that's an antique, blah blah blah. And
that's also relevant.
Yeah. Wait, relevant or irrelevant?
It's relevant.
It's relevant. It's definitely relevant. Because
the next morning,
this paper, because they put a picture in the paper, basically loads of blokes see Emma Thompson and think, holy shit, I'm going to pretend that I know her so I can go out with her because that's normal. Yeah. It's normal to take advantage of a woman with amnesia and phone up and say, yep, definitely that's my wife. I'll come and pick her up. And that's normal.
And Derek Jacobi shows up in the morning.
The hypnotist.
The hypnotist.
Right.
He's the hypnotist. Frank Madsen. His name is Frank. Just remember that. Put a pin in that. Frank.
Write that down in your notebook.
And he's clearly like in his 50s or something. And he strokes Emma Thompson's hand in a very strange manner that I hate.
How did he get in? Like, did he let him in? I
think he just walked in through the open door.
Right, okay.
So, hello.
Right.
I swear I'm not a con man. Oh, by the way, that's a lovely chair you have. I'll give you $25 for it.
His shit. He just wants to buy everything. He's like, he said, I'm here to help. I'm here to help you I'm going to buy your chair. So you're going to hypnotize Emma Thompson because that can only go well.
Yeah. So he strokes her hand. He says, your hand is feeling lighter and lighter. You're floating in the air or whatever. And then she yells out, somebody help me! That's the first word she said. So she speaks. She's no longer mute.
Oh, yeah. She scared the shit out of me when she did that. Because it was like very quiet and just like nothing was really happening. And then she just starts screaming. I was like, what
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we know now that she can speak and that Madsen is a legit hypnotist, even though he seems to be really, really interested in antiques. but that's fine. I'm sure that's nothing important.
Mm.
And then there's a scene where Church helps to wash her hair,
I'm really glad you mentioned that.
which is very weird.
I thought that was so odd.
Because he didn't rinse her hair properly, and I
No.
was so pissed off.
That whole scene was infuriating because it's like, why wouldn't you just do it in the
shower.
I
or
guess.
bath
I
or-
guess. Wait. I guess it goes back to what is the point of that scene? Because if she's just chilling in the bath doing it herself, then it wouldn't give him the opportunity
There's no
to come
connection.
and. Yeah.
I think we just need a scene where he touches her,
Right.
in a caring manner.
Gotcha.
So I think that's what it's for.
The next day, they go to Manson again.
And Madsen has an antique shop.
Yeah. He hypnotizes people to get hold of nice furniture under the guise of helping Miriam Margolyes stop eating chocolate. All right then.
Miriam fucking Margolyes, isn't it? I lost my mind. I was
loved
screaming and yelling.
there was like a cool shot. The lighting when they walked in, there was like a really nice there was like nice sunlight peering through the roof, and it was just them watching him hypnotize Miriam. I thought it was a nice little.
I used to sit on Uncle Teddy's lap.
God, that was so weird.
I really loved it. I bet he did too.
The whole scene was so bizarre because she had like a weird high pitched voice as well.
Because she was like a little girl. She regressed into her past life of being a little girl.
But then out of the trance, we hear a normal voice, and it's really deep.
Yeah.
She's sort of
When
got
she
a
snaps.
Russian accent almost.
Oh, thank you very much. That was very helpful, Frank.
So you want to know something that occurred to me during this scene?
Yes.
Miriam, Emma, and Kenneth were all in Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't even recognize any of them except Miriam Margolyes.
Yeah. So Emma Thompson was the teacher with the crystal
Mad
ball.
hair.
Yeah, with the crazy hair.
I didn't even know that was her.
Yeah. She loves doing
Face blindness. Face blindness, I swear to God.
No.
Yeah.
To Booth's defense on this one, Emma Thompson does do a lot of transformation roles, or she's done a few transformation roles where she doesn't really look like herself. She ends up looking completely different. So she's the kooky teacher, and then Kenneth Branagh is the defense against the dark arts teacher.
That's really full of himself.
He's really full of himself and a
Yeah.
fraud.
And then Miriam
Frick.
Margolyes is she the
Herbology teacher. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Weed. She smokes weed.
Smokes
Yeah.
weed every day. But
He
yeah,
just wants to get furniture. But I mean, that was good. You know, we see that he is a hypnotist, I guess, and she was in a past life. Because I don't know when Theodore Roosevelt was president, but it was a long time ago. It wasn't
That's who
recent.
Teddy is. Her Uncle Teddy was the president,
Yeah.
Theodore Roosevelt, who had a lovely desk, and that's
Yeah.
what Derek Jacobi is after, the desk.
Oh.
Because if you've got two interests, you know, hypnotism and antiques, why not combine the two?
Sure.
It's like a joint degree. It's like you
It's
get
not, I don't know how this helps with Miriam Margolyes' chocolate cravings that she wanted the hypnotherapy for. I don't think that helps her in any way.
He might be a bit of a con man,
It's-
maybe.
It's so she can keep coming back. You know, I'm still feeling
Yeah.
a few chocolate cravings, and he's like, "Don't worry about it. Let's."
I ate 4 Twixes today.
He's like, well, maybe he's like trying to coerce her into like telling him how many like antique pieces of furniture she has in her house. That's what.
or
That's,
where they are.
Yeah.
Basically.
Every visit, he learns of a new antique.
yeah, so we can go and.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So, then we decide to go for a nice little, just an easygoing first visit of a couple of hours of hypnotherapy for Emma Thompson. And she's
Okay, Biff, G,
Yeah.
listeners, I want you to picture yourself walking down a flight of stairs.
okay.
With each step, you relax still further. And as you go down, I want you to tell yourself, I am going deeper and deeper into a state of hypnosis. Now, at the bottom of the stairs, I want you to picture a door. Now, this door is very important, because just beyond it lies whatever time or place in your life you wish to visit. Is it working? God, I've done it. I've hypnotized them.
Is it weird that I like see what you just described as like PS1 graphics? Like
what?
Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, go down deeper and deeper, and then you see a door, and then like I pictured the door from like Resi 1. You know when you go to
the loading screen.
Yeah, the loading screen. Yep.
Boof?
Yeah.
Are you all right? What happened? Did you fall asleep a little bit?
I just had a little bit of a doze there.
A little bit of a doze off?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
It was very nice. I went back in time and there was my uncle
Bush.
John who was going for a ride in his car and then his head turned to jam.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, tasty
He had
jam.
he had a really nice antique toilet that we
Oh,
used to sit on and
nice.
laugh about.
And G, did you
No.
picture your uncle? You know, maybe when you were asleep that time, and you woke up and your uncle was watching you.
Would you like to summarize what
It's a real thing.
what
that
happened? Oh my god. What happened when she went under hypnosis, Simon?
So she's told to go like in the third person almost. She's an observer watching. She's not like inside of a particular person. She's in third person.
Would have been pretty
looking down
weird if it
on
was like first person, though.
Well, it would be quite spoilery, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So it has to be third person.
What do you
so
mean
instead
quite
of saying
spoilery? How? What do you mean by that? How is that spoilery?
because of the fucking whole twist that's coming later on in the film, G.
it's clearly
Right?
the same one.
So our mystery woman, played by Emma Thompson, has a vision of 1948.
Winter
And-
1948.
And she sees Margaret Strauss, who looks just like her. What the fuck?
Whoa, it's crazy, dude.
Margaret Strauss, who gets murdered. So definitely, that's her in her past life. Clearly, because they look the same.
Oh my god! They showed it at the beginning of the film, in the newspaper clippings and everything.
Yeah.
And he was
So-
Alexander the Great's chief eunuch.
Oh my god.
What?
That's Rimmer. That's Ace
Yeah.
Rimmer. From Red Dwarf G.
Oh.
So she mentions the names Roman and Margaret Strauss, and that makes Frank Madsen cough, as though he recognized those names or was surprised in some way.
The hypnotist.
But
I
but
didn't
don't worry
even-
about that.
I just thought
Don't
he had
worry
a dry
about-
mouth.
Yeah, he just had a dry mouth or something. Don't worry about that. So Roman and Margaret have cocktails. Roman fucking knocks the cocktails over because he's a clumsy idiot.
Roman?
No, it was
her.
It was Margaret that knocked it over.
That's right.
And he said,
Margaret,
he's like,
I don't know
you're
why I
beautiful, but you're not.
confused them. I don't know why I
Yeah, I
confused
don't know why
them.
you would confuse them.
Margaret knocks over the cocktails.
He says, you know,
Yep.
you've got beauty, but you haven't got grace, or
No,
something
he
like
says
that.
you got more beauty than brains, and I put
Grace.
really. Oh, I thought
It
he
was-
said brains.
Why would he call her fucking stupid?
Well, that's
He's
what I
like
put in my
basically going,
notes.
You dumb bitch! How dare
Yeah.
you knock over stuff?
I put LeMayo, stupid fucking woman, like as if to say he's like, oh yeah, you're beautiful, but you're a
No,
fucking
he's saying
idiot.
she's not graceful, and that's also relevant.
Grace.
Right.
Yeah, Grace
Basically,
comes up.
Roman is a conductor, and the whole
And a
orchestra,
composer.
and the whole orchestra is quite fearful of him, but not Margaret. Margaret's very attracted to him.
She flirts. She winks at him.
Yep. And then they go out for dinner and drinks and dancing.
And then he reads her palm and says that her lifeline is very short.
And I'm like, uh-oh.
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh.
But don't worry about it because you will find everlasting love. Oh, isn't that nice?
That's so fucked up.
Oh.
Then she finds that she's like, "You have a dead wife," and he's like, "Yeah." And
I'm German and I have a dead wife.
I'm German. I have a dead wife. She died. She had a bad heart. We came over the mountains to go out of Germany. But then
the Second World War.
They get married. And
Yes.
Gray Baker, you know that man that we heard about at the beginning, the reporter.
Andy Garcia. Yes.
he shows up at their reception. I'm getting a phone call. Do excuse me for 2 minutes.
I thought it was a fucking
That's what I thought.
Oh, he was visiting New York and he has a pair of trousers.
I was like, oh my god, did Tamagotchi's call her now? This is involved.
Hello, it's me, your Tamagotchi. You alright, Sophie? You haven't fed me, you fucking cunt.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I hope it's something important.
I'm back.
Hello.
Hello. I'll continue on now.
The wedding.
The wedding.
Andy Garcia.
His hair is totally wrong for the era. And it pisses me off. Nobody in 1948 had fucking curtains, man.
Wait, did they?
Oh my god.
No!
Surely
he's all
they
wrong.
did.
He looks all silly. He looks wrong. And he's very creepy towards Margaret.
He is inappropriately, like, lusting after her, it feels.
Yeah, I thought he, like, kissed her
I didn't
foot
like
at one point.
That's later, G. That's later. We'll get to the foot bit later.
She's just so
I know you're
excited to talk
about
about
it.
the foot bit.
Fuck's sake. What is she like? We meet the housekeeper, who is basically Mrs. Danvers from Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca. She clearly doesn't like the wife. Margaret, she hates her.
I wouldn't go
She looks
that
kind of
far.
creepy.
Jesus, she didn't say
Well,
that.
She's German. She's German, like her son, her lovely son who has a stutter. And he's called Frankie, which is strange because we already know a character called Frank, but it's probably just a coincidence.
I'm
Don't worry
pretty
about
much
it.
on Inga's side at the moment because but it's also like you get the impression that Margaret's being rude to her, and the son's saying you need to move out of the bedroom next door, obviously.
Yeah, because we want to
we wanna fuck.
so we don't want you next door.
I don't think that's entirely unreasonable, though. Like,
No, it's not.
It isn't.
You know.
And it's a big house. There's
Yeah.
plenty of rooms. That's kind of weird, though, isn't it? Having a room next to your housekeeper.
is that who they were?
Well-
Was she the housekeeper?
Yes.
Yeah, Inga, the housekeeper, and her son,
Right.
Frankie. Not to be confused with Frank, the hypnotist. Different character. This was 43 years ago, and that young boy, if he was still alive, probably would be about the same age as Frank Madsen, the hypnotist, in 1991. But don't worry about that. Don't think about that just now. So Roman gives Margaret a bracelet. Oh, it's a lovely bracelet that goes on your wrist.
Wrong.
No, it isn't. It's an anklet. It goes around the ankle of your foot.
The ankle of your foot as opposed to the ankle of your face. What's you don't need to classify that. Clarify.
You can't criticize me for saying something that's tautological when there's a fucking brand of scissors called Deschure, which means scissors
I mean that's
in this fucking film.
handy, isn't it?
So the anklet, it symbolizes being two halves of the same person that cannot be separated even by death, which is a lot to read into an anklet. It feels.
Yeah.
My anklet doesn't mean much. It just means like this was a very cheap thing, and sometimes when I sit down, it hurts.
Oh,
It sticks
Does
into
it-
you. One of the pointy
yeah.
bits sticks
it does
in.
look like a very expensive, like, diamond bracelet. Because I think she goes to put it on her wrist, and it's like, oh, it's an anklet or something.
And she's like, no, you idiot. It's an anklet. It's 24 karat gold, I think. and it's encrusted with emeralds and diamonds. So it's probably worth a small fucking fortune.
But you get the impression that he's rich from this, obviously.
Must be.
Yeah.
So she wakes up from the trance. It's weird that the hypnotist didn't ask about that anklet if he's so into like antiques and stuff. Surely he'd be like, "Oh, and what happened to this anklet? I need to know. Did you sell it to someone? Where is it? Where would it be now?"
But I guess he's
doesn't do
being
that.
watched by this dude. He's being watched by Church. He maybe doesn't want to blow the whole thing straight away.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But then Madsen shows Church and Emma Thompson's characters photos from like an old, is it Time magazine?
Yeah, something like that.
And it has Roman and Margaret Strauss in it. And it's crazy because they look exactly the same. They're looking at their mirror images and they're like barely reacting to it.
They don't say anything. They don't mention it.
It's insane.
I put in my notes, they're not going to mention how they look exactly like the people in the magazine. ... And then they just move on.
And also the fact that their mansion is now the orphanage where Mike Church grew up.
That you can easily that's excusable, all right? But when
that's
you
a
have
coincidence,
yeah, but
it's a lot of coincidences, G. There's a lot of coincidences.
Yeah, but the picture, Simon, the picture where you could clearly see that you look like these.
Look at this photograph.
You can't. I think that was like one of the annoying.
Well explained, G.
It was one of a bit of annoying points for me because I'm like, they look exactly like them. You can't. Like, why are we pretending like they don't? It was annoying, but yeah,
it's strange. But I mean, we know later on why.
Do we?
Is. Yeah, 100%. It's meta though. It's for the sake of the viewer rather than anyone else.
Well, you're gonna have to explain that later because I'm not following.
Yes. So it's also explained by Madsen that Roman murdered Margaret with a pair of these golden plated scissors.
The D word again, I'm gonna scream. Stop!
Scissors, which means scissors. So they're called scissors. And Madsen, he goes to leave with the magazine, and then Church goes to leave with the magazine, and then Frank Madsen stops him and asks him for almost $18 for the fucking magazine. Which is sure. I mean, it's an antique shop. He's going to have magazines. They're in the ephemera section. So that's not so crazy that he would just have.
But she
that
can
lying
talk
around.
now, anyway.
Yeah, she can now talk.
She can talk now
normally,
which is nice. So we have another. We have another scene with Robin Williams.
Yeah, we go back to Carlisle and he's like,
store.
yeah, that's totally plausible.
He says my favorite line in the entire movie about I think he was talking about an ex-patient who was insanely claustrophobic, and he said she was so claustrophobic she'd choke if she walked into Yankee Stadium, which I found very amusing. It is funny! Yeah. What do you mean?
So it turns out she has claustrophobia because she got locked into coffins
in her past
when she was a child in her past life.
Very important.
Yeah. Her brother loved pranks and loved locking her in one of the family coffins.
It's just a prank, bro.
Just a prank, bro.
Yeah.
The annoying thing about this whole past life bullshit is I put resolving past life trauma ? As if resolving current life trauma isn't hard enough. Gotta worry about past lives.
True.
Rude.
I mean,
odd.
The way I see the past life thing in this film is it's almost like a science fiction movie, right?
Definitely.
And it's just a conceit that you have to just
There are
accept
people who do believe in past lives,
rules.
though, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, but they're all
crazy. Do you
crazy.
know my past life?
Oh god.
Oh no.
QED.
no.
When I was a kid, I was about 1 year old.
When I was just a little girl.
I insisted, when I was a little boy, I flew planes, and I made my granddad...
Mommy! When I were a little boy, I used to
fly bloody planes.
I were in war.
I went war. No, here's the thing, right? Here's the fucking thing. I said I flew a red plane with black crosses on the wings.
Wait a minute. Those were the bad guys.
Those were the bad guys.
Oh,
but I mean,
oh no!
I think it's because my granddad was really into history documentaries, so I probably picked it up on that.
You don't actually believe in past lives.
I don't actually fucking believe in past lives. That's
Jesus.
fucking bullshit.
Oh God!
I do have a question later on at the end that I'm going to be asking. I've got a couple of good questions.
Oh, I have a feeling.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
So yeah.
Okay.
Newman comes around. I'm going to just call him
He's
Newman.
funny man.
Sorry.
I just put funny man as being funny again. He's always the funny man.
Newman
Very incisive there.
He's always typecast as the big funny man. Like, I don't even know his...
Dennis Nedry?
Is that his name?
In Jurassic
No, what's
Park?
his actual name?
Wayne Knight.
Wayne Knight.
To this day.
Which is an absolutely fucking
like Batman.
badass name.
Yeah.
I absolutely fucking love that name.
Bruce Wayne, the Dark
Wayne
Knight.
Knight.
Wayne
Oh.
Knight. It's such a cool name.
Really cool.
It's a much cooler name than he
Literally,
deserves.
that is so sad.
I think he's cool.
I think he's cool in his own way, but he was always typecast.
Very generous.
Aw.
He was always typecast as the funny guy, a bit stupid, bit of
The clumsy, bozo, funny man.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah. Clown. The clown. So he's brought copies of newspapers that he's printed out from the internet. No, sorry, from a library or something. And I guess it's the section of the newspaper he works for, the archives. He's also got a book that was written by a guard that was on death row when what's his name? Strauss was.
Yep, he was Strauss's
facing the
guard.
death penalty.
Basically.
Yeah.
And I wrote down here at this point, right, that I have assumed from all the evidence presented that Roman Strauss was framed by Gray Baker and karma needs revenge.
Now, that's what a normal, sensible person would draw. Yeah. That's kind of...
Thank you, that's the greatest compliment you've ever given me.
That's kind of what the viewer is supposed to think. That's how it's
that
been
Andy
set up.
Garcia's character killed.
Yes.
Garcia,
okay.
yes.
He was the one that did the murder because he fancied Margaret.
He's like, oh, if I can't have her, nobody can.
Clearly. And then Mike Church he's cooking something and he's cutting bacon with a pair of scissors. So you've got to do another shot for that.
You use kitchen scissors?
Not a pair of fucking
Do you use
scissors.
kitchen scissors, anybody?
I do, but not for cutting bacon. Although in saying that might actually be a good idea.
It does. It
What about cutting pizza?
Pizza?
Like Sylvester Stallone
What?
does.
Oh, I had pizza last night. I
In
should have
that
done
film.
that.
I don't like the idea of using scissors on food, honestly, because I don't like the idea that things can get stuck in the little joint and be unhygienic.
That's a good point, yeah.
I'm not happy about it.
What film is it he cuts the pizza in? It's one of his really early ones.
Stallone?
I don't remember.
It's the one that starts with him like going into like the scene of a robbery or something, and he just starts blowing people away with his massive gun.
Cobra,
It's fucking
1986.
insane. Cobra, yeah. It's a fucking great film. It's a great
Hero
film.
in action movie who eats pizza in an unconventional way. Yeah.
Is there a whole
Yeah.
top 10 list of that?
There is literally oh no! Oh, this is on a Reddit thread.
No.
Oh no! It's on a Reddit thread called Our Bad
Leo.
Movies.
Oh yeah, I'm
Wow.
sub to that
Fuck
subreddit, by the way.
Shocker!
It's fucking amazing.
Shocker!
Everyone's like, "Oh, do you
Surprise to
remember this
everyone.
film?" And I'm like,
Yeah, I gave it 10 out of 10 on my red
But
box.
honestly, there are some absolute fucking bangers on that subreddit.
So Mike takes the nameless lady who's forgotten everything to a date, and it's like an absolute dog shit
I don't
date.
understand this scene one bit.
It's
Yeah.
very weird. So the bar is pretty much like on its last legs. It's lost its liquor license. They don't have any live music that they normally have. It's dead. No one's there. But Mike Church, he knows the guy, and they managed to get like some tea in polystyrene cups.
It was styrofoam.
Styrofoam, that's whatever. Oh, and then he like spills the drinks.
Oh, you
Very clumsy.
You picked up on it.
Very clumsy. Got no grace.
I'm
no
like,
grace.
oh, he's the clumsy one in this life. Typing away.
What an idiot. So I'm glad you picked up on
And then
that.
he reads her tea bag.
Yeah, he does read her tea bag, even though that's with tea leaves, but that's the joke, I guess.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
It's very strange because she says, Mike, someone wants to kill me. And then he's like, oh, whatever. And then he like waffles on, tells jokes, just charms her. He names her Grace.
Yes.
He says, your name is Grace now. After his kindergarten teacher at the orphanage, who was a big, beautiful woman named Sister Grace. What the fuck?
Beautiful woman.
Beautiful woman.
Very, very strange.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
And then he takes her dancing. They like to dance.
In the rain.
But it's raining.
The way you described that made it seem like he took her to a lovely little like jazz bar or something, but nope.
Hell no.
No, it's the roof of where he lives.
He just takes it to a rooftop. He's like, oh, it doesn't rain in LA. And then it cuts to a scene, the next scene.
Where it's raining.
And it's
It's
pissing
it down.
And then
But they dance, he kisses her, and then they make love.
on the couch, and she's like, we'll ruin your couch.
Meatloaf.
Yeah.
And it's like in the thing where the
With our cum.
No, that's not what they said.
I think that's what they
No,
mean.
it
though.
was a callback to the original
past life, the regression, where she says we'll ruin the couch, and he says I'll buy another one.
Yeah.
Oh. That's nice.
And
so they're in.
blah 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 blah. They after this beautiful, magical, beautiful, wonderful date.
I was going to say there's another scene with scissors.
Oh, is there?
He says I'm not Roman, and then the camera pans over. and there's a pair of
Honestly,
scissors,
I
and you gotta
think
do another shot.
I think like before this point, I started to like completely ignore the scissors. Anytime scissors was brought up, I started to.
I'm just going to ignore the main point, the plot point of this.
No, it got to a point that it was like annoying me because it's like I get it, scissors. I don't care anymore.
But they're shoving these scissors down
Literally,
our throats.
I was like, I don't care.
Okay, Booth, talk about the next scene.
So the next day, I think they're probably going out for another hypnotist session or something, and they're pretty coupley right now.
No, they wanted to get food. I think they were like,
oh yeah, they were going to get food, weren't they?
Yeah.
She's freshly fucked.
Yep. She's feeling
and wearing
good,
his clothes.
and she doesn't know what she likes, so they were going to just try everything. They were going to order things, and this man comes running up. Called it says his name is Doug O'Malley, and he says that her name is Catherine Pierce, and that she is his fiance, and it's her medication for her insomnia that's given her this amnesia. It's happened It's happened before, and. He's like, I've picked up this glove on the floor when you left. You ran out. You must have dropped it. And it's the same glove that he sniffed, innit? Or is it slightly different? Or did he steal it? Or
okay, so the fiance hands over the pill bottle and it says quality drugs on it. And I was like, that's a bit sus. But he knows about the ring.
Yeah, I thought that was odd.
And because they're engaged, that makes sense. And he has the missing glove because she only had one glove at the orphanage. So he has the missing one. So definitely 100%, this must be her fiance. And then Mike's all sad and they start walking off. And then Mike realizes that it's the same hand glove. It's like the left one or whatever. For the same hand as the one that she had at the orphanage. So it's not the missing glove.
It's the same glove.
It's a glove for the same hand.
So somebody
He's a scammer.
Stole it. And I was like, what did he want from her? He's a phony. Like, what does this random man happens to have the same glove?
Yeah.
Weird. They go for another regression because it's a bit fun now.
I thought that scene was weird because, like, I don't know if we want to talk about it now or later Because it's like, where did he actually come from? Like, what was...
Exactly.
Don't know. Oh my god, I ruined my voice. Hello?
It's sort of there. It's hanging in there, isn't it, Simon?
Hello? Oh god. This is how it ends. I'm going to be mute, like Emma Thompson.
You're going to forget everything, and we're going to have to sort of like try and figure out who you are, and then we're going to give you a new personality, honestly. In the next life, you're just going to be
We're going
stuck.
to have to start the
You're
podcast
just going to be stuck
this episode.
doing podcasts with us in all of your future lives.
Oh my god. That's like hell. Just trapped. They need to break the cycle.
Break the cycle. So they go for another regression with her.
Well, you're missing the fact that this strange man that wanted to like go off with Emma Thompson, he runs off. Mike chases him. He gets kicked in the fucking face by him.
That.
Like, does kickboxing.
It was just...
but he just runs off.
he knew
and flicks the
karate
Vs.
or something. Because he goes, oh, did he look like a kind of guy that knew karate or something like that when she like caught up to them eventually?
Fantastic.
But that whole scene was insane because it was like so...
It was absolutely pointless.
Well, I don't want to like spoil anything because I thought like he was sent by someone to do that, right? So
shit, maybe.
I thought that it was in a bigger, like, he'd seen her picture in the paper and he was another one that was just trying to fucking
but how
get
did
her
he
for
know
some unknown reason.
How did he know about the ring though? Because that was
exactly.
Yeah, so I was like,
I thought it might have been written in the
because
paper.
Maybe
okay.
Do you know what? I think G's theory might be true that he was like hired.
Maybe
to do
that's
this
what I thought.
By the
I was
bad
like,
guy.
Why else would he? Like, unless he was like just trying to win a free wife or something, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh my god,
needs to try and get a wife this way sometimes.
Yeah.
But then they do their next regression, and it's a costume party, and Roman did not want to go because he's a sulky man. He wants to finish his opera, and he's running out of money.
Yeah.
And he needs some work from the guy who was throwing the party, and he was like, no.
I put Roman needs money, and Andy Garcia is still down bad for his wife.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 surnames is there in his question, and I wrote down that I want a masquerade party. I would love it.
Would you?
Yeah, it'd be so fucking cool.
Well,
I mean,
what kind
I
of
do
mask
get
would
the
you
impression...
Would you take one on a stick or one that you'd wear?
I'd probably wear it because I'd want to wear it all the time.
You'd be a moth.
I'd be a moth.
Like a giant
I get
moth
the impression
that's landed on your
that
face.
masquerade parties are just like excuses for orgies, though. So
yeah, that's
probably
the impression
maybe.
I get.
for that.
But this isn't an
No,
orgy.
this is just
well, not at this stage. Anyway, could do later.
We learn that Andy Garcia, Gray Baker, is a smoker. He likes smoking, loves cigarettes. They're his favourite thing in the world. Aside from other people's wives, presumably.
His 2 vices. His only 2 vices: cigarettes and other people's wives.
Yeah. There's some fucking ditzy bitch actress or something, wannabe actress. She calls Roman a nobody because he's the composer and he's not like a producer in Hollywood.
Right.
It's true.
And he's very upset by that. And that was very rude of her. That was so rude of her to say that. But Margaret and Baker are all like sitting together. They're all flirty. This is okay. G, would you like to take over now?
So it was like I found this whole scene bizarre because like I thought maybe they had kept in contact, Margaret and the reporter, but then she said a line that referred back to their first meeting where she said, "Oh, are you still missing the wall?" So I'm like, okay, so they don't keep in contact. They're not like...
It's not a casual, like, acquaintanceship. It's not a friendship.
Yeah, it's just I see you when I see you type of deal. So I was like, okay, that's kind of comforting. Because I thought like, you know, if the husband had murdered her, it had been because she was actually like messing around behind his back. But that wasn't the case. Up until as far as we knew. Anyway, he like looks
Roman. Oh, you sorry.
No, sorry.
You carry on. No, because I was skipping ahead. You need to carry on now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
talk about the foot.
So it was like getting nippy. Like it was really cold, and they were like everyone was going inside. And even she was saying like, "Oh, I'm cold," and I thought he was going to give her his jacket, but he just didn't. Because I was like, "What the hell?"
No, he wants to touch her
I
phone
was like, "What is
instead.
the point of this?" Anyway, he's like, and then he wanted a closer look at her anklet, and I think she was so she was sat down and he was stood up, I think, and then she like puts her foot on him, and he's like he's like taking a closer look at the anklet. And
and then Roman sees this, and he's
it
not
looked
happy.
really
Why would you?
bad though. Like her
It does
her
look quite
leg
bad.
was like up. It was up
On his shoulder, pretty much. He was like, ooh.
yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? You can't like talk your way out of this. It's just, and she had the nerve to get like angry at Roman. I was like, but like
Unbelievable.
Because
almost
he punch
Women.
Roman punches Gray Baker, and she's mad at him for that.
He gives a good old fucking
He was like,
punch,
I'm
and
curious-
Andy Garcia just lands in the fountain.
I'm curious as to
Frosh.
what you were doing with my wife's leg.
well, I mean, it's a
I like
fair
that one.
question, you know, like what the fuck? What the fuck? That whole scene.
It seems skeezy. It seems very, skeezy. Oh, I just want to look at your foot.
I literally put, don't even know what to say to this.
Yeah.
Literally, I was always speechless during this entire segment. But yeah.
So later on we get little Frankie walks in, not to be confused with
Big Frank.
the hypnotist. So little Frankie, and he has a lovely little German accent, a little boy, and he's like, "Hello, Mr. Roman, there is a phone call for you, yes." Like that, something like that. Anyway, and then Roman picks up the phone, and it's not a phone call for him. It's Margaret talking
Well,
to
let's
Baker.
not skip out on the part where he's like dramatically like playing on the piano very angrily in his masquerade mask, like a diva.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, all
Pretty
right,
badass.
Phantom of the Opera, you drama queen. But yeah, he like picks up the phone, and then he hears Andy Garcia's voice.
Sorry,
Garcia.
Andy Garcia.
Stop! So he hears his voice, and then I think he asked her. It's like, oh, who was on the phone? And then she lied to him.
Yeah, and it's important that Baker, Andy Garcia, is saying, you ain't got no money. Your husband's skint. You ain't got no money. But yeah, Margaret she gives Roman a haircut later, and there's a lovely pair of scissors in
Take a
the
shot.
Take a shot. And she does lie about who it was on the phone, says it's like a fellow musician, a lady, plays an oboe. It's bullshit. She's making it up. And then she walks into her bedroom, and little Frankie's there, and he's got his hands on the anklet. And that looks very suspicious.
Just done it.
It's like he's taking it. But he's not. He's going to put like a little charm on it, apparently. Little charm. Oh, my
That
little
thing was
charms.
huge. That charm.
And she's saying, have you seen my earrings? Because they've gone missing from this drawer, Frankie.
My pearl earrings are missing,
Frankie?
Frankie. He's like, I don't know anything about that. And it's all bullshit. So Margaret, she knows this is sus as fuck. She says to Roman, I want you to fire your housekeeper and her son. Get rid of him. Get him out of the house.
He started
like,
to give an
The thief.
explanation, right, on like who they actually are.
Yes.
Yeah, he says that they saved his life when he was escaping from
Him
Germany
and his wife.
during the war.
My wife.
His wife, his sick, rich wife. Margaret basically implies, thanks to the information that Andy Garcia has given her, Garcia, she basically implies that Roman took his rich, sick first wife on this arduous journey across the mountains, knowing that she wouldn't make it, so that he would get all of the money. That clearly seems to be
not
what
like they were
she's
trying to
implying.
escape the war or anything. No. It's clearly he was trying to kill her. Sure.
So she knows that the money that he has all came from his wife, and
Now they're poor.
it's run out. Yeah. But then we have an interesting scene where Margaret's sleeping in bed, And then Roman approaches her in his mask. He's got a pair of scissors, take a shot. He says, "These are for you." He takes the mask off, but it isn't Roman, it's Mike. And you can tell because he hasn't got the facial hair.
Right. Yeah. And yes,
What?
I caught that. So it's actually Mike Church instead of Roman in the regression dream.
In the flashback.
So she snaps out of it and she's like, "You were there. You were offering me the scissors. You were the one that was trying to kill me." Pretty much.
Right. Why? Because he didn't have the
she's
facial
like,
hair. Because that's,
Yeah.
that's when I got angry.
Old thing.
Oh.
It's like that old thing where, the evil. You've got two people exactly the same. You got Data and Law, and one of them's wearing a beard.
This is where I got angry because I was like, how is she only now clocking on that he is Roman? Is she brain dead? I was really mad because I was like, how are we like this far into the movie and you still haven't realized that is you guys? You look identical. So the only thing that I can find for this is apparently they were actually contemplating using different people. So 4 different actors.
Oh,
for
right.
the
Oh, it works so much better this way around.
It really does.
It does.
It's very good.
And but I don't know if it would have been like a nicer way of revealing that it is actually them, but I don't know how that would work. I don't know how they would make.
Well, no, because of the twist that comes later. You wouldn't buy into it being
It's an excellent little twist, isn't it?
Come on, G. Jesus. We'll get there eventually in about an hour.
No, it's not an hour. We're so close.
So Mike refuses to be regressed to actually find out if he was Roman. He refuses. He's like, I'm not Roman. They go back to his house. He's incredibly tense. He gets a message from Mike. Well, Mike's on the phone, and he says, "I want you to send a message to Andy Garcia, who is still alive."
He's still alive.
Newman reveals he's still alive, and there's a PO box. And Mike sends a message, and it's, "Margaret wants to know if you still miss the war."
Very good.
Gasp.
So that's a good sort of thing to get his interest.
Because obviously in that timeline, Margaret was murdered. And he was like, "Holy shit, okay." Like,
wait, timeline?
How would he know that?
Like, who would know this line that she asked me?
Well, it's not timeline, is it? It's
just the past.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sorry.
Well, no, I was confused because I was like, oh my god, is it a different timeline? I honestly thought
No, there isn't a different...
no. Okay.
It's not like time travel or stuff.
We're not watching Primer. God's sake.
Well, I was thinking about the the possibility of it being them having lived like many different lives before, and it always ends up being, they always meet the same fate, sort of thing. Maybe that is the case.
See, I wrote down earlier, like I was like, okay, so Mike Church is Roman, Margaret is this mystery woman, Grace, and I was like, but who is Gray Baker in this new timeline? Because I assumed that he was dead at this point as well. Mm-hmm. I assumed they were all dead. And I was like, I was very shocked to find out that Gray Baker was still alive in a nursing home. And,
little mini twist, maybe.
Yeah, and so, I mean, she's convinced that... Grace is convinced that Mike's going to try and kill her. So he's like, here, have all my scissors. Have them all.
It's an insane scene.
Yeah.
So the neighbor is playing the fucking piano really badly. Mike is a little bit tense.
Just a bit.
He's opening his mail with a pair of fucking scissors. And Grace says that I'm scared of you, Mike. I'm scared of you. So he walks towards her again with the fucking scissors. And he's like, take the fucking scissors, Grace! Take the fucking scissors! And then he keeps dragging her around to different parts of the house that have scissors and handing the scissors to her.
How many pairs of scissors do you have in your house?
Apparently he's got like 4.
I think it was
but how many scissors? How many pairs of scissors do you have?
I've got like 2 nail scissors. I've got kitchen scissors, and I think that's it.
Probably about like 3 or 4.
Okay, I might be the outlier then, because I've got 2 pairs of scissors on my desk at the moment. I've got 2 in my bedroom. I've got 2 in my crochet box, which is also my bedroom.
Oh my god!
I have a pair of the proper. What's the name of the really good scissors? The ones with the orange handles. I've got some of them.
Are they called Disha?
They're not called Disha. They're called I think it begins with an F. I've got some of them, and I've also got a multi-tool with some scissors on as well. So I think I've probably got I've got quite a lot of scissors. My scene with that would be taking up a lot of time. I've got 2 pairs in the bathroom as well. So.
Oh my!
I think it was meant to be like a red herring of he's clearly the unstable one. Even in this life, he's showing his true colors. He's crazy. He's gonna kill her. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, clearly that's.
I just put.
And he gives her a gun.
Yeah, he gives her a gun. And I put certified man moment. Because he just loses his damn mind for no reason. He goes from 0 to 1,000 really quickly. And then he gives her a gun, and then she pulls it on him, and it.
No.
Yeah, it's not.
Does that? I don't remember him giving a gun.
He gave her a gun, and
I think she just has a pair.
No. He gives her a gun. She's holding a gun. I'm sorry.
He gives her a gun.
I'm pretty sure.
Jesus, where did he get the gun from? I thought he was just giving her scissors.
I'm pretty sure that he gives her a gun.
If 2 of us remember that, then I think.
Okay, I thought it's not till later that she
gets another gun.
That's another gun.
Okay.
That is the important bit for the story.
There's a big moment here where he's given her all the scissors and everything is going to hell, and then Mike finally sort of calms down a bit. He realizes that he's acting crazy, and he says to her, "I would never hurt you, Margaret."
Yeah.
Doesn't say Grace, calls her fucking Margaret.
Oh, I didn't even clock onto that.
Incredible.
That's pretty cool.
And at that moment, he's like, yeah, we need to figure this out. So they go back to the hypnotist, and he is being regressed to try and figure it out. This time, though, we're in first-person mode, like the video game Doom. He's walking down a corridor. He can see his leg, and he's like, this is my corridor in my house. I have a leg.
T-shirt that in the format of the Doom text, but it says "come."
He does, yeah.
Okay, just asking because I thought I made that up in my head, but I needed clarity on that. But yeah, sorry.
From Kathor Jensen's store online. Thank you for making that. So we're not sure who he is. I mean, it's clearly Roman, though, right? It must be Roman. Yeah. But then he walks up to a mirror and he sees that he's Margaret.
Amazing.
So Mike Church in the previous life was not Roman Strauss. He was Margaret Strauss. And he says out loud in the real world, in the present, that he's Strauss, but he's interrupted before he specifies that he was Margaret.
Rocks up with her true identity.
Mm.
Her name is Sharp, Amanda Sharp, which is weird because the fake guy said that her name was Pierce, right? Catherine Pierce.
Oh,
but her real name is Amanda Sharp.
Oh, that's insane.
Are you getting?
Yeah.
You understand? It's like the scissors, G. It's like the scissors.
So I totally did not catch on to the fact that he is meant to be Margaret. That completely flew over my head.
What?
Yeah,
the fact he looks in the mirror and sees that it's Margaret.
Yeah, I just thought it was just a thing.
That's one of the big twists of the film. G.
Oh, okay. Well, and what she's meant to be Roman.
She's Roman and he's Margaret. And it was her that murdered him in a previous life. Maybe?
Right. Right. Well, the bracelet, the anklet is 2 halves of the same person. So I can get that, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, whatever.
So, there's a weird little scene where Mike visits Robin Williams, who basically says that he has to murder Amanda. Sorry, Grace. Sorry, Amanda.
Before that, I did think Funny Man was being a little sus. I thought...
He did seem... The fact that he tells him to murder this woman before she
I'm
kills
talking
him.
about. No, I'm not talking about Robin Williams being the funny man. I'm talking about Newman.
Right. Okay.
I thought Newman was being a little weird because I was like, how did he get her driver's license, her purse? Where did this come from? But no, he was just.
He just did his investigation and he found out where she lived and stuff. But Madsen was like, you need to stay away from church because obviously, in a past life he killed you. He's going to do it again, And he was reaffirming that she should be scared of him and she should not be anywhere near him.
And he's gonna try and trying to reason with her with reasonable explanations and stuff like that.
Sweet
And not
talk her and
Yeah.
seduce her. And just when she feels things are safe, it's just going to end in violence. Because
Yeah.
that's the cycle. It always ends this way.
Yeah.
Madsen's setting that up. And of course, Robin Williams' character is like, you have to kill her before she kills you, which is really weird.
Yeah.
And he says, why do women do anything?
Why do women do anything? Touche, I said.
To be honest.
Weird line. But we are kind of missing the fact that when Amanda goes back to her apartment, she's an artist, and all of her paintings and all of her sculptures are of scissors. Everything is scissors. So you've got to be taking shots. Take at least 24 shots.
And she's still saying, I don't recognize anything. I don't believe that I live here.
Yeah.
I was like, come on.
She's cringing at herself. She's like, oh, God, really? This is
This is exactly why I have a lot of pictures of myself in my house, just in case, I forget who I am. And somebody brings me home and says, you do live here, Sophie. And I'm going, what? I don't believe that. I don't recognize anything. And then they say, well, here's a picture of you with Ainsley Harriott. And I'm like, oh, right, okay. I guess I must live here if there's a picture of me and Ainsley Harriott here.
My God, rubbing his meat. Oh, my God. He loves to do that. Oh, don't we all?
Oh, we all.
And a big thing is that Madsen gives her the gun.
Yes, an antique gun.
She has an official
pearl
necklace.
gripped tiny.
Oh,
what? Antique necklace?
No. Sorry, what? I didn't say pearl necklace. Sorry. What?
Oh my God, Simon! You degenerate!
But anyway, so Pete's telling her. The mailman and his wife were happy, and look what happened. Still cut her up. And
they do
Church
talk about gender switching.
Yes,
in this conversation between Mike and Robin Williams' character, which I thought was interesting. But then obviously I didn't clock on to the fact that he was Margaret in the previous.
Oh my God!
So I was like, why are they talking about gender switching?
Oh Jesus!
So Church goes to see Gray Baker, who has contacted him. And he says he's like, I want to talk to you. Come and hang out.
And it's clearly like a hospice that he's in.
Yeah. He's got some fantastic old age makeup on.
It is absolute dog shit. It's so unconvincing. It's so bad.
He's talking with a voice box as well because he has smoked himself into oblivion.
He presumably had throat cancer and he had to have a laryngectomy.
Tracheostomy?
Whatever it is, one of those. So his vocal cords are gone, presumably, kind of, and he has a hole in his throat, which he smokes.
Yeah, that's the tracheostomy.
He smokes through because he refuses to talk unless he has a cigarette.
And because Mike Church, he's a smoker, but he's quitting. And he says, I've quit.
Yeah, after seeing
now
that.
And he decided.
Now he's decided, and he gives the whole pack to the guy he was instructed not to let him smoke under any circumstances.
Seems irresponsible, doesn't it?
But the thing is, he's old and he's like dying, and he makes a good point. It's like, just let him fucking do it, man.
Well, he cons him into giving him a smoke because he's like, I'm not going to tell you anything unless you give me a cigarette. So
yeah,
Mike is like, oh, okay, fine.
But also, like, if you were really, really old and dying, you'd just be like, give me all the drugs. I'm going to just fucking do what I want.
Yeah, I guess.
And so Andy Garcia's character in Old Man Makeup reveals what it was that Roman whispered to him just before he went to his death. And the answer is nothing. He didn't whisper anything. Roman kissed him. Which, what?
Yeah.
Yep.
I still don't understand the significance of that. Was he just
because
fucking
it's
with him?
Margaret?
No, it wasn't Margaret.
No, he wasn't Margaret. I think he was just like, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Well, because the woman is meant to be...
The woman wasn't
Roman.
on death row. She was dead.
No, I know.
She was dead at that stage.
Yeah, but if they were gender swapped in their past lives...
They weren't gender swapped back then, though. It was only in this future life that it happened.
Okay.
So, he says, you know what, you should ask the housekeeper. She knows more about it than anybody. And Church is like, holy shit, she's alive still? And he's like, yeah, probably, maybe, I don't know. She runs an antiques shop.
That's crazy. With her son.
With her son.
Little Frankie.
Little Frankie.
Frankie's little Frankie. Oh my God. So that's the other twist.
Church has the same revelation. We're all like, oh fuck. And I wrote down my new theory that Frankie Madsen killed Margaret for accusing him of stealing and moving them out of the bedrooms. That was the last straw. But he did manage to finish his opera. Did Roman?
Oh, that's nice. The one about the monster. That's nice. Yeah.
I was never suspicious of the hypnotist. I think the only time the first time he was introduced, I was suspicious, but it wasn't enough to go.
Sus.
Yeah, it wasn't enough for me to go, like it's 100%. But then I started to become very suspicious of him during the apartment scene where
when you look to the moment where he, regresses unnamed woman and she says Roman and Margaret Strauss and he just coughs. He just has an involuntary reaction.
I didn't even notice that scene. That went over my head, sadly. But I think the movie does a good job of keeping you guessing throughout.
It does.
When did you guys clock on? At the twist or even before that?
No, it was at that point.
Right.
There was a lot of theories that were going on, but I thought Gray Baker was the main dude. I was thinking this Madsen guy must have some recollection. Maybe he was in a past life as well. But we meet the housekeeper. He goes to talk to Inga, and she tells all. She
spills the fucking beans.
She does. Basically, she says that Frankie did it. Frankie killed.
Because she was in love. The housekeeper was in love with Roman. And
he didn't.
And Roman didn't reciprocate. Frankie saw that his mother was unhappy, saw that Margaret was clearly in the way of his mum being happy. He hated her. And so Frankie gets a pair of scissors. Take a shot.
Yeah.
And stabs her in the arse in the flashback.
Yeah,
stabs her everywhere. Well, she cops it all over the place.
But the first stab was in the arse. It was it made me laugh.
That's a good place to be stabbed, I think.
Yeah.
Very fleshy. Mine.
She says that after the murder, she took him to a specialist speech therapist in England.
Which is why he has an English accent now.
Yes, and he had an interest in hypnosis as well. So obviously he picked that up as well. Cured him of his stammer, but was like, wow, hypnosis is fucking badass. And that Doug, the guy who said it was Catherine was his fiance, was just a paid actor.
I missed that bit. Okay, well that is revealed then.
What?
That is revealed.
So G's theory was right about
G's
that.
theory was correct.
What
Round of
about
applause, G-Star Games?
about the guy who tried to get her?
Yeah, Doug.
Doug
With the glove.
Right,
The kickboxer.
Doug with the glove. Right. Gotcha. Oh,
Doug with the glove.
Paid actor.
Paid
because
actor.
did you notice that Madsen actually picked up her glove in the first time that they met in the apartment?
I did notice that.
Oh shit!
He
I
lifted
didn't even
it up to look at it.
Fuck!
So he must have
Yeah.
he must have pilfered
Oh,
that
that's so
to
good.
set it all up.
Because he's a little thief. He's always been a little fucking thief.
He has
A
always
little
been a little
shit.
thief.
He just wants to get antiques from everybody. And he turns up after the conversation with Church.
He was there the whole time listening
He
He was there the whole
to his
time
mum
listening.
spilling the beans.
She
And
she also had the anklet, by the way.
Oh, yes, she did.
She had the anklet tucked away somewhere. Didn't.
So she gives that to Mike. And after he leaves, Madsen puts her to bed and tucks her in. Lovely, cozy, comfy,
Good
cozy,
night,
cozy,
mama.
comfy. Night.
Mutter.
And tucks her in so comfortably that a pillow is sort of tucked in around her face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
was
such a
wondering what he was
long-
going to do. Yeah.
There's such a long shot of her just lying there in bed. And we
Yeah.
know it's coming. I thought he was going to
Yeah.
attack her with scissors, honestly.
I thought it was.
But no, he smothers her to death with a pillow.
No, I think it just went to show that he didn't want to like butcher her up, but he wanted her to
Just, she just fell asleep and didn't wake up. It happens
Forever sleep.
when you're old.
yeah.
And I wrote down here, let's get some karmic action. Because this is where everything starts kicking off.
Oh boy, it does. The race is on, basically.
Yeah.
Mike needs to get back to Amanda, which is Emma Thompson's name now, in the present. But Frank is also on his way. Who's going to get there first? What's going to happen? Frank has his antique golden scissors, the Desher.
Yes.
And we see an elevator riding up towards the apartment where Amanda, the artist, is staying. It's Mike, and he kind of goes apeshit. He's yelling at the windows, yelling at the door. He breaks in through the fucking window. Perfectly normal behavior that wouldn't scare a woman that thinks that you're trying to murder her. She pulls out the gun and she fucking shoots him. And I don't blame her.
Just as he's about to explain. What's going on.
Yeah. Maybe he should have, not just broken in. He could have
Should
just
have led
yelled.
with that, really.
And then Frank arrives on the scene. And Amanda's like, I shot him. And then he says, thank you. Less work for Frankie. Which was horrible. I hated that.
Yeah.
And so Amanda freaks out. She tries to shoot Frankie, but the gun just goes click.
Because it's an antique and it jammed. And he's like, that's the deal with antiques. Isn't it? Oh, God. And then there's a lot of slow-mo jumping around, which I laughed at.
It's the great action sequences that happen now. So Frank just belts Amanda. She falls. She knocks over a giant pair of scissors, which is like a steel sculpture that she made
Oh my
before
god.
she lost her memory as
The
an artist.
greatest sculpture ever to have lived.
So we have Chekhov's giant pair of scissors. We have flashbacks of the murder of little Frankie just going to town on Margaret with a pair of scissors. So take a shot because there's scissors. And Frank, he takes the limp, unconscious body of Amanda, lies her down next to Mike, wipes her fingerprints clean, which is what he did in the past as a little boy.
But then proceeds to touch, the rest of his body with his hands.
Yeah, it doesn't seem great, does it?
No.
Oh, and he takes the anklet as well, takes back the anklet.
And he puts the gun in, is it in her mouth?
Yeah, Amanda's mouth.
Her mouth.
Amanda's mouth.
Oh my
And,
god, she's going to die!
Yes.
Oh no, it's all going to happen again. But Mike wakes up and stabs him in the leg with some scissors. Take a shot.
The golden scissors. The magical golden
scissors.
scissors.
And then everything's sort of like, oh shit, there's another scuffle, there's jumping around and stuff. And
the scissors go flying across the floor.
Which Amanda grabs.
She instantly wakes up and grabs the scissors. Like it's something that's just built into her.
Oh,
her
she's
body,
been painting
her
the
brain.
fucking things for God knows how
She's
long.
scared of being stabbed by scissors all the time. And then Pete comes bursting through the fucking door with a pizza.
Mike manages to get the gun. He has Frank at gunpoint, and everything's good now and under control. But yeah, fucking Newman comes in with a pizza. I hope it was a good pizza.
Would have been worth it.
He
I
drops
hope they
the
used
pizza.
a pair of scissors to cut it as well.
To cut the pizza, yeah.
The comically large ones.
So Mike, he drops. Newman drops the pizza, grabs Mike. The gun falls onto the floor.
Well, context.
Frank-
He's like, "No, Mike, don't do it. You've got
Don't
it all
fucking
wrong.
shoot
Don't
him."
shoot him."
Newman thinks Mike's gone mad and he's gonna kill everyone.
Yeah.
But the gun's on the floor. Frank's about to grab it, but Amanda is awake and she's got the fucking golden scissors in her hand. And then we have like this is a beaut. I love this so much. It's such a great climax to the film. So little Frankie's stutter comes back. And he says, "Well, I for one are very interested to see what's going to happen next." And then it all goes into slow motion. Frankie goes down for the gun. Amanda is just ready to stab him. Mike manages to break free from Newman. Amanda stabs Frankie in the back with the golden scissors. We get flashbacks to the past, which seems kind of random flashbacks to me.
This scene is the funniest shit ever. It's insane.
Frankie manages to pull the golden scissors out of his back. He runs across the apartment, which must be the size of a football field. How long he has to run. He's going to Mike. He's going to stab Mike with the scissors, but Mike manages to grab the giant steel statue of scissors, positions it just as fucking Frankie does an inexplicable leap.
Yep.
And Frankie manages to impale himself on the giant pair of scissors, and he's fucked. He's done for.
And
So funny, bro.
scene.
What
So
a fucking
funny.
beautiful
And no
end.
one was arrested for murder. There is some nice scenes afterwards of them having
Making
a little
love.
smooch
Yeah,
and stuff.
happy.
Just to say, everything is all worked
Everything
out in the
worked
end.
out.
Happily
No
ever
one went to
Conquers
prison.
all.
Nobody
Nobody goes to prison.
Yeah, they broke the curse. Maybe.
Fucking batshit insane ending. I love it.
Yeah.
It felt like it earned it. Film earned that ending.
Yeah, true. I can agree with that. I was laughing my ass off though. I was like, the large scissors, ha ha ha, I'm dead.
No, Frankie's dead.
So
the
Frankie's
scissors.
also dead, yeah.
So who wants to go first with their final thoughts of the film? Did you enjoy it? What did you like about it? What did you think was
What
shit?
about you, Simon? I think
Me?
you should.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I
should go
think
first.
it was my
It's your
pick.
pick.
Yeah.
So I did watch this film many years ago, probably in the 90s, and I could barely remember anything from it. But I know that I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
And I enjoyed it again. I loved it. I thought it was a wild ride. All the plot twists. The plot isn't insanely convoluted. It's quite simple, really. I thought Derek Jacobi was amazing in it. I really liked his performance.
Who?
He's Frankie.
Oh.
Derek Jacobi's a very famous actor.
Oh.
He played the
Okay.
Master in Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm not a Whoian.
Kind of similar
so-
role, oddly enough. The Miriam Margolyes cameo was amazing as well. I thought Emma Thompson and Kenneth Branagh were just solid. They were fine, dependable. I loved that the past lives thing was great, even though it's kind of nonsense in real life. But I bought into it for the movie. And I liked that there was the twist that they weren't who you thought they were. Kenneth Branagh was actually the lady, and Emma Thompson the man. So I liked that there were red herrings. I thought it was a really nice story. told very well. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I give it 8.5 out of 10. A great film.
Ooh.
Now I'm ready to hear you two both shit on it.
G?
Yeah, I liked it. I actually really liked it. I thought the acting was great. Cheesy, 80s tropes here and there. But I think, all the acting was great. The story was pretty cool. The twists were amazing. I was also on the edge of my seat. Yeah, I think Kenneth Branagh did like a really good job directing it as well. Good length of movie. I don't think it overstayed its welcome. So I'd probably say 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, I thought
it was a solid score.
I thought it was pretty good, honestly. I love movies like that where it keeps you guessing the entire way through because it keeps your mind engaged. You're like,
it does. You come up with theories and you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and it didn't feel exhausting, and I just thought it was all done very, very well. So it's a solid 7 for me.
Boof.
Yep.
Boof.
So I was not sure about this film at the start because I was like, okay, it's an interesting premise, but the trailer and everything else looks really boring and dull to me. Like it wasn't grabbing me, and I was like, I really have to pay £3.50 to watch this. Really have to do it. And then it started and I was a bit like and then I got hooked. It was cheesy. It was cheesy, but it was
the good cheese.
It was interesting. It was fascinating. It kept me watching and it kept me engaged and it kept me thinking about it, and I enjoyed it, and I give it a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 as well.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and
okay.
I think it was worth the £3.50,
You've had some very harsh scores on previous films, so a 7 out of 10 is a good score from Sophie.
Yeah.
Listeners.
Because it's like
Good.
it's a good film that I enjoyed watching, and I wouldn't say no to watching it again.
Yeah.
But it's not like one of my favorite films of all time. So obviously, but yeah, it's a good rating.
I would love recommend it. Loads of films like this where they're like these like, it's like it had like a star-studded cast, and it's I genuinely had never heard of this film before. So I love a good thriller.
Oh.
And the cast was great, and it did such a good job. I would love more movies like this. Like
this is music to my ears. I feel validated for putting this on my list.
Oh, I'm so
you should do.
Yeah, I'm happy with
because
this.
the other films we watched that I put on the list were shit. So
no, this is great. This is great. I loved it. In terms of trivia, any fun little bits of trivia?
What do you got? Well, the obvious one is that Kenneth Branagh and Emma Thompson were married during this film.
He cheated on her with Helena Bonham Carter.
Oh my God.
I did not know that. Oh my God.
And then they were together for like 5 years and then they broke up again. But
sad.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine.
I didn't know that. They were in Dead Again, Much Ado About Nothing, and Henry V together, I think.
Yep. And some other films as well. But
and some other ones.
Oh, Peter's Friends. They were in Peter's Friends. Yeah. Quite a big film.
They also the serial number on Roman Strauss's prison uniform was 25 10 14 15, which is.
I did write that down. I thought about it.
Oh, did you think like, what was that about?
What's that about?
Yeah.
What is it about?
It is a little Easter egg to the Henry V film, which is so 25th of October 1415, which is the date of the Battle of Agincourt, fought by I knew I was going to fuck that up. Yeah, I was like, it's either a hard G or a soft G, but it's that.
Which are you?
Oh, the soft.
Oh,
right.
That's nice.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
It would be a bit weird if you said, I'm hard. That would be very odd. So thank you for not doing that.
You're welcome. But yeah, that is a little Easter egg to that.
That's good.
Oh, and another one that I found fascinating was so a bunch of the people that they sort of encountered in the modern day setting were also people that you would see in flashbacks as well. In the
like during the masquerade ball and stuff.
Yeah, the nun
party.
Cool. And the guard, I think. Or something like. There was like a couple people who were like in the black and white.
Just as like extras, basically. But,
well,
yeah,
but it shows a consistency that, like, I guess fate,
past lives,
fate also brought all of them together as well, or even in passing. So
interestingly, Roger Ebert gave this film his maximum score, which is 4 stars. He has a weird system,
right?
Maximum score 4 out of 4. He compared it to the works of Orson Welles and Alfred Hitchcock. Which I do get. I get the Hitchcock thing because it's a lot like Vertigo.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like crazy. Like it's a good film, sure, but 4 out of 4. But sure. Also, this film is one of the big influences on my favorite album of all time, the Dream Theater conceptual album Metropolis Part 2 Scenes from a Memory.
Cool.
The prog metal album. It's not hard to tell, really. It's very similar about past lives, hypnotic regression, that kind of thing, and murder. Which is it's a great album with a great little story through it and some real bangers. But yeah, it's very obviously an influence on it. Oh, another thing I found. Well, I didn't find this. I just thought it myself. Strauss, of course, a German immigrant, and in the 19th century, there was a book which you may have heard of. It was basically a book of cautionary tales called Der Stuhlpeter. And it's the one that has there's a little boy that keeps sucking his thumb. And he's warned not to do it. He goes outside and he secretly starts sucking his thumb. And then, like, this tailor appears with a massive pair of scissors.
I remember that. I do know that. Yeah.
The scissor man comes for him. So I thought that was interesting because, like, German scissors.
Yeah,
sure.
That's interesting.
Sure, that's similar. But yeah. Okay, do you want to do the box office now, G?
Yeah, budget 15 million, and box office pretty good, 38 million.
Pretty good.
That's fine. That's fine. It's not a big hit, but it made its money and then some.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good because we've had like quite a few on the list that haven't really been hitting their box office targets.
But they weren't the best films. So
yeah, but yeah, 38 million is pretty impressive.
It is,
and it deserves it. It's a good film.
I have my questions now.
Go on then.
I have my questions. So Roman is writing an opera about a monster that he was struggling with, getting angry about. What do you think this musical would be called? A musical about a monster. Well, what is it about?
An opera as well.
I'm not really well versed in my
just
my
think
opera.
Of, so say it's Dracula falls in love, that kind of thing, and it's like
that would be good actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to suck you like I do blood, or something.
Ooh.
Wait, is this a real fact, or are you trying to?
No, he's just making things up. I think
Roman was writing a musical about a monster, an opera,
right,
in the film.
Okay.
So I thought maybe, do you know what? Forget this fucking question.
It's a very difficult question to answer.
Awful. You're awful. Okay, this is the better one. Okay, who do you think you were in a past life?
Oh, I knew
G
it.
and Sophie.
Yeah.
I knew you
And
were
do
Well,
you-
other than the Red Baron.
And do you think that we three knew each other, and were any of us married to each other, and did we kill each other?
I definitely think that in a past life, I
You flew an airplane.
I flew an aeroplane for the Nazis. But in seriousness, I think that I most likely would be reincarnation of Mother Shipton, who was a soothsayer from Yorkshire, who just lived in a fucking cave and didn't fucking talk to people.
Was
and
she
everyone
burned
hated
for
her.
being a witch?
No, she just died, I think.
Okay.
But nobody liked her, so.
Yeah.
cool. Very
That's
cool.
crazy. G, who do you
Live
think
Live
you
in a
were?
cave.
I'd love to have been like a mobster in my past life.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'd love
I
that.
see it.
I'd love to
Okay.
be like a Tony Soprano.
Like I thought it would have to be
No.
like Chicago in the
no,
30s or 20s.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. Like
Now listen here, you dirty rat.
yeah, I'd love
fucking
that.
bitch.
I love that. I would love to have been like a mobster in the
What about you,
roaring
Simon?
20s or the
That
Yeah.
would have been
Bootlegging.
good.
prohibition.
I didn't really think about an answer myself. I just wanted to hear your responses. I think
You were
I
a
would've-
clown.
I was going to say some kind of like business tycoon. We've got a big hat.
I think maybe I was P.T. Barnum in a previous life.
Sure.
A clown, really? That's
I mean,
incredible.
it would explain your Kluber. So, you've got the VTuber thing going on. So
I think just because I'm a clown in this life doesn't mean I've always been a clown in every previous life.
I think it probably does actually.
Oh God!
I think
You were a
it,
clown through the ages. You were a jester for King
King Henry, the
You
fifth.
were
I need to break the cycle.
you break the cycle, man. We're all just
sake.
clowns. We're all just fucking buskers
Believe
trying to make our way in the life.
Can't believe you've done this.
Oh,
And of course, the
fantastic.
final question is: would this make a good video game? It just seems absurd to me to ask. Would this make a good video game?
It would, because it reminds me a little bit of Bioshock Infinite.
What the fuck?
What?
In what?
What?
Because of
I'm not
past
sure how
lives.
I'm not sure how the story would.
What do you mean?
That's
Do you
about
not
like
know
multiverses and stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, okay, yeah, but it's sort of like
And
on the
twins.
same thread a little bit. It's not that far gone from the original
Have you ever
concept.
played the Sherlock Holmes games? If it, it's like that sort of murder mystery, sort of figuring things out.
Or
Or
like
maybe you're the
Nancy Drew.
hypnotist.
Like a
You're the
Nancy Drew.
hypnotist. You're a hypnotist trying to figure out by like
Yeah.
hypnotizing people, trying to figure out a murder.
Mm.
But then the twist is you did it.
That's pretty cool.
Fuck. Okay.
No, it would be
Alright.
shit game.
That reminds me of a book called Time's Arrow. I think by Martin Amis. And
Oh God.
it's all in reverse. Everything that happens is in reverse. It's
Is
if
it like the universe starts shrinking and time goes backwards or something?
no. So it's spoiler warning, I guess, if
Oh
anyone
God.
has ever wanted to have read this book. But it's a guy, and everything he does, everything that happens around him is happening in reverse. Instead of putting food in his mouth, it's coming out of his mouth, and instead of taking a shower, it's he's
Instead of
it's
taking
like
a
the-
shit, the shit goes up his asshole.
So it's like the episode of Red Dwarf where they
Yeah.
go back to Earth, but everything's in reverse. And Rimmer and Crichton have a stage show where they eat an egg forwards, and
It's
everyone's
just,
really impressed.
It's just like that, but it's about the life of a German Holocaust doctor.
It's
Literally.
exactly like it.
no,
which,
literally, it is.
I'm making a lot of references to
Fuck.
Red Dwarf today. I think I
It's
should watch Red Dwarf.
you think he's just a normal dude, and then he's like an old man, and then time is still going backwards, and it gets to the point where, he's a doctor. And obviously, if things are happening in reverse, you're curing people, right? Or you think you are.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane,
isn't it? So he thinks
God.
he's a good guy and he's curing people and he's not doing bad things because it's happening in reverse. So then, he's just you find out he's a Nazi doctor, and it so happens that like when you do like heinously bad things, or I guess a bunch of the Nazi doctors, they like create like some sort of, I guess, like a second personality to like help them cope with what they're doing. Not obviously making excuses, just saying like that's what
compartmentalizing.
Happened. Yeah, like it's so far gone from humanity and like right from wrong that it just seems so obscure and so weird. But everything is happening in reverse, and he's like, "Why am I doing this? Like, what's going on and stuff?" And then you find out he's a Nazi doctor who.
Okay, so that's why Dead Again would make a good video game.
Yeah, that's why it would make a good video. I love that book. It's so fascinating to me.
Sounds pretty good. Yeah. Holy shit, that's insane.
It's a good book. It's a good book.
Good recommendation there. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you thought I didn't read books.
I thought you were just a big idiot, but you're not at all.
Wow.
So good on you.
My fucking major is English literature, right?
I do, yes, and journalism.
Exactly. So kind of need to do a bit of reading there. Just FYI.
Yeah. Thank you, G.
You're welcome.
Okay, our lists. What changes have you made to your curated list of 6 movies?
None.
Please inform. Oh.
Well, I
none.
The Fly, Tropic Thunder, Sea of Love, Rambo First Blood, The Prestige, They Live is what I have for you, G.
Yeah, I switched out like 2 films last week, so keeping it the same.
Keeping it. Sophie?
Same for me as well.
Daredreamer, The Hidden, Brian and Charles, American Movie, Kung Pao, Cemetery Man.
Yes.
Excellent.
Practice.
I have My Fair Lady, Black Dynamite, Extro, Who Killed Captain Alex, Krull, and I've added a new thriller, North by Northwest.
Oh.
Hitchcock, baby.
Interesting.
Are you crazy? Somebody's tried to kill me. Cary Grant's in it. It says. Excellent. Did you like that? Did you like Cary Grant?
I love that.
I love that.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. From Bristol, oddly enough. Oh, it's rolling time, ladies. It's rolling time.
Rolling.
What? Come on. Yeah. Now I know you'll be loving this shit right here. Okay, so first of all, what number on the list? To narrow it down to 3 films, 1 from each of our list.
Mm-hmm.
Roll a d6. Let's just go, baby. Let's just go. We got a 2. Black Dynamite, Tropic Thunder, or The Hidden.
Interesting.
Oh my god, I can't remember what The Hidden is. Maybe we'll get it and then we'll know. Okay,
Maybe.
1 or a 2 is Black Dynamite. 3 or a 4 is Tropic Thunder. And a 5 or a 6 is The Hidden. It's G's film. Tropic Thunder. We're going to see just how badly it aged. Just how badly it aged.
Oh
with
my.
its use of the R word. The blackface.
I don't believe I've ever seen this.
Tom Cruise is in it with very hairy arms.
And once again, I'm going to have to pay like £3.50 for this.
Oh my god.
It might be free on something. It might be free on a service, a streaming service.
Yeah. It's got so many people.
Ben Stiller, Robert Downey Jr., Jack Black, Tom Cruise.
It's amazing.
It's got
Matthew McConaughey.
Right, okay. Here we go.
They are filming a film and they don't realise that they're no longer actually doing a film and they're staying in character and everything goes wrong. And it's a comedy.
Okay.
So, you're gonna hate it. I know you're gonna hate it.
Absolutely hate it. Yeah, she's gonna hate it.
we're just going to see. We're going to see how it goes.
Okay.
How long is it for? Where is it?
Oh my god.
Where's the runtime?
I'm not making any
2 hours, 1 minute.
Okay.
Preconceptions about this.
Okay.
I'm not gonna
Don't watch.
say I'm gonna hate it. And
Don't
I'm not
watch
gonna say I'm gonna love it.
trailers. Don't
watch trailers. They're shit.
Exactly.
Well, I think trailers are shit anyway because like they spoil everything. They're very misleading. Blah blah blah. So just go in it completely, without knowing much. Fresh.
Open heart and an open mind.
Exactly.
Ben
thank you
Stiller?
for joining us on YOMP.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say Ben Stiller's in it. Andy directed it. If you like Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller.
Like Ben Stiller?
Yeah, I like Ben Stiller.
Right.
Okay, there we go. Sorry. Go ahead, Booth. Close us up.
Yep.
Close up up.
It's time to shut up shop. Thank you for joining us on YOMP once again this week's episode. And if you'd like early access to episodes and behind the CD sort of stuff, I will get notes and that. And if you want your name read out at the end, then we do have a Patreon. We 3 tiers.
Patreon.com/YOMPcast. YOMPCAST. Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening and for paying for everything. Oh, you know what? Forget it.
It's been a long one. It's been a long one today.
It has been long, but it's been amazing, and I've loved every minute of it. And you guys are fantastic, and I look forward to this every week. And we are very grateful for everyone who has been listening and supporting, and we love your feedback, and we've got loads in store for you guys. So thank you very much for listening, and we will catch you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hi everyone. A very special thank you to the people over on the Patreon. Of all tiers, really. We've got 3 separate tiers, and the ones at the Giga Yomper tier, you guys are, I guess, you're all MVPs, but you guys at the top, we really appreciate the support. We appreciate you guys backing us, supporting us, believing in us. We love what we do, and we're just so very humbled and very, very blessed to be able to have people to back us in the way that you guys do. So thank you to Sleepy DIJ, Kara Jackson, Scott 5877, Kyle, Cornelius, Vander, I'm a Robot, Luck, and Enki. Thank you guys so much. Catch you next time. Bye.